Hi, what is up, friends, lovers, and enemies of World of Wonder? I did previously film this, and then I honestly, for whatever reason, it just didn't go well. It didn't really feel like I was making the point that I wanted to make, and obviously I want to do a good job because I don't know, this videos are like the visual essays of the eyes of the face.
Bangs are the curtain of the head, which is the eyes to the windows to the soul.
You know what I mean? This was initially inspired by this one video I watched of some girl who was trying to explain why season 13 of Drag Race felt so off, because obviously it does. And then I finished season 2 of UK Drag Race last night, and we need to talk a lot. A lot. The amount at which the decisions that have been being made make me want to bully World of Wonder is so high, but also I want to be employed. So I am anticipating this being a little ranty. I do want to sort of take from the girl whose video I watched. She mentioned what her biases were before she got into what she actually thought was the reasoning. So, which I think was mostly because she thought that the internet would be mean. Totally possible, completely plausible. However, I don't believe in disclaimers, but I do think that some of this is important. Some of it, not all of it. So I think probably my most important bias or belief or feeling or perspective, it's not really a bias, that I think you should know is that I really think that if it is not completely abandoned, which I kind of don't think it is, I think we need to abandon the idea of drag as female impersonation, because gender play without commentary is boring and bad and also not camp, and IMO feels a little too palatable to Republicans. It's also insultingly cis-normative and also bad, and I think it's holding back the art form as a whole. It's just not interesting. It's been played out, and I think we're ready to move on. Also, tangentially related, but also not really related, is that I do have a bachelor's in environmental policy, so if you know, you know. Also, RuPaul is not funny, at all. I don't need to reiterate the comments about, not being able to compete in his own show or how awful his style and makeup are. Everyone else has already gotten there first. But I do think it's really important to note that RuPaul's not fucking funny.
Did I read? Absolutely. Did I talk? Absolutely.
And I think that that's a problem, but not necessarily a thing that I have an action item for. I also have a very strong lean towards avant-garde queens. That's probably fairly obvious. Like I said, I think pretty much all other drag styles are played out, and it starts to feel a little repetitive after a while. I do also really enjoy comedy queens. I mean, who doesn't? Laughing is fun. What the fuck? No, but anything that makes you laugh is good. You're gonna enjoy it. So anyone who is funny, you're gonna enjoy. So some of my faves include Trixie, Katya, Bob, Monet Exchange, Crystal Method, Utica, Bimini. I like Gottmik too. Can we talk about Gottmik's Snatch Game?
You're so obsessed with me, it's everything.
I kind of am obsessed with you.
You're so hot.
Chef's Kiss. This is probably coming out of left field, but the girl whose video this is inspired by said that, I think it was something along the lines of, everyone knows that the lip syncs are the best part of the show. And I feel like I was not getting that message. I have not been getting that message. I have been performing since I was 4, and all of my really good friends are also performers, be they dancers, singers, actors. So hearing someone say that, I was completely in shock. I feel like most of the time the lip syncs are subpar. I'd say each season maybe half of the lip syncs are decent, and only a handful throughout the show are actually memorable. And definitely the UK Drag Race, which is what I most recently binged most of until I got caught up. Those lip syncs are really physically painful for me to watch. It's like watching a high school play. I want to go home and not have to think about it. I mean, not to mention also they should not be choosing slow songs for lip syncs. But I do appreciate that the UK queens sing live in their musicals. I think that that's a great touch, and if they continue doing that, I think that that would be awesome, and not just in the UK show. So there are like a lot of reasons why the show feels so weird now. I mean, not just in season 13, but definitely season 13. But I would say also like season 12, maybe season 11. Definitely a little bit, just a little bit of UK season 2. But not so much, not entirely. And one of the main things is that the sense of fun has been like completely lost. It's not fun to watch. The queens aren't having fun. And if you can tell that they're not having fun, we're not having fun. You know what I mean? I do think part of this is that there is an overemphasis, especially in like US seasons, on like look queens and casting more pageant queens. And this is kind of like a thing it's been throughout the show. I mean, if you look back on seasons 4 and 5, Fifi.
At least I am a showgirl, bitch. Go back to Party City where you belong.
And Roxy are like great examples of this, but I do also think that this carried into more recent seasons. Partially, that can subvert expectations and like be good sometimes. For example, like Gigi Good's Snatch Game.
Gigi's physical comedy is hilarious. Watching her try to pick up her cards, comedy gold.
I said vagina.
Bimini Bomb Boulash's Snatch Game.
As you know, Rue, you might have heard in the press, I've had a hectic year. My implants got held at gunpoint in South Africa.
Did they?
I walked in the stables and caught my horse cheating on me again. So, I didn't have time to write anything.
Like, that's kind of what made these standout moments. But I also think part of the things that make the sense of fun be lost is like, it's almost like the show has gone on for too long. And so everyone's very, very keenly aware of how being on Drag Race can launch you into like a lucrative full drag career. When what I mean by that is like where you can just do drag as like your whole career, whether or not you win a season. But of course, now there is also the element of like, if you win a challenge, most of the time you will win money, and also the $100,000 that you win, which, I mean, I do have some theories that part of the issue with this is socioeconomic and also a little cultural, in that the economic rift in the US is so large that like it almost fosters desperation in not just Drag Race, but I guess like all competition shows where money is involved. However, in American Ninja Warrior, the prize money is $500,000, and sometimes it's even $1 million, and they never act like desperate assholes. And the editing always makes it seem like all of the ninjas are friends, so it's almost like not hard to foster a community that supports each other. And even though I think, like, of course, everyone should be paid for their work, their labor, especially UK queens, I don't agree with them not getting any money, especially because you should have to get paid for being on TV because you are working. One of the benefits to not having money as a part of the winning prize is that it almost feels a little bit less cutthroat, and it's fostering sisterhood, which makes it fun to watch. And maybe, like, it's just me, but there's like a certain level of like cattiness that makes it interesting, and then sometimes you can get so far above that it is frustrating and painful and like more stress than it's worth to watch. Granted, I know I get like way too emotionally invested in shows. This is partially why I lean so hard into watching reality TV, because it's way more like, I guess, like emotionally easier for me to deal with than watching fiction. For whatever reason, the stakes are lower, I guess. And also usually it's a little bit more fun. And this is tangentially related, but it feels rigged. I know it is. I know it's planned ahead of time, blah, blah, blah. We're gonna get into that. But feeling and knowing as an audience member, I'm so keenly aware of how rigged the seasons are because they make it so obvious that it's not fun to watch. I'm not getting a journey. I'm not really feeling like I'm actually falling in love with any of the drag queens, and therefore it's not enjoyable to watch. Also, just to bring it back, to hammer it home one more time, Rue's not a good host, Rue's not funny, they need to get rid of Rue. Not a single fucking person watching the show enjoys RuPaul. I feel like I am a middle-aged dad watching football, shouting at the TV Get rid of it. I'd love to watch an interception at this point. I used to watch football.
What the fuck is going on in here on this day?
So, like, even though we know what is feeling so weird, like, there are more specific things that are actually going wrong. So the main thing that I think is going wrong with the show, I would say everywhere, but I have not seen Holland, Thailand, or Canada, and I don't think I ever will, and I did kind of tweet this. The scripting and the planning that's going into Drag Race is bad. It's so bad. I know that reality TV is scripted and planned. However, there's such a thing as scripting and planning too much. Like, way too much. And that's kind of what's happening. But not even just that. It's also that it's bad writing. Bad storytelling. One of the most important things, okay, and like, let me reiterate my credentials. I am a published poet and journalist who has been writing and like sort of studying writing, I guess like in a real and serious sense since I was like 15, 16, but definitely also way before then, in a much more looser sense. I used to go to a summer intensive workshop where we would study script writing. I know at least to a certain extent what I'm talking about. I have never worked in reality TV. That's fair. But I know what good writing is. And this is not good writing. When you write a script, you're supposed to create sort of like bones for what's going to happen. And in reality TV, it does have to be even looser. And also, when you write, sometimes new ideas come to you. And sometimes, when you have real people and not actors, things happen different than you would expect. So, what do you do then? You think to yourself, oh, well, guess what, bitch? You adapt your script. It's not hard. It's so easy to edit or to, like, add in a new scene or to scrap one scene because it's no longer gonna work. And because the writing and production teams at World of Wonder are not doing this, they are failing at, like, the one thing that you need to do in good writing, which is to get your audience on board with you. They've done this multiple times at this point. And I was talking to my friend who actually got me into Drag Race, and she was saying that she thinks what they're trying to do is to, like, dupe the fans. But M. Night Shyamalan twists don't work in reality TV. And it actually comes across like we're being gaslit and told that we're stupid as the audience. That's not cool. That's not fun. And guess what? It's fucking rude.
Don't be fucking rude. Are you kidding me?
It's not acceptable. I want to especially talk about this in terms of Drag Race UK Season 2. So if you haven't seen it, I'm very sorry, but it is, like, integral to my argument. I genuinely like the top 3 girls. Lawrence Chaney, Bimini Bon Boulash, and Tace. I think they're all really interesting to watch, very entertaining, and had the last few episodes not happened and not portrayed Lawrence Chaney in a certain light, I could be okay with the outcome. I would have been on board. I can be gotten on board. You can onboard me, I'll fill out a W-2. We'll be all good to go. Tax jokes aren't funny. You're the only one who has a tax preparer father. It's not funny. It's not cute. I will simply see myself out. Basically, what happened was that they ended up getting us really, like, gassed up on Bimini. They showed us how, like, she grew exponentially throughout the show, and everyone loves an underdog story and seeing someone improve. And one of the best things that they did on America's Next Top Model, which is, it's partially how they ended up doing Drag Race even in the first place, was because of the success of America's Next Top Model, is that in America's Next Top Model, they would give the win to the girl who improved the most. As viewers, we're seeing the whole journey in a fairly short amount of time. We like being along for the journey, and we want to see the person who we've seen grow and succeed the most be awarded at the end. And when they awarded Lawrence, it felt like World of Wonder spat on us and kicked us to the ground. I mean, maybe to me. Maybe I'm being a little dramatic. But I felt insulted, quite frankly, because I know what I saw, and the result was completely contradictory. Like, quite frankly, they could have gotten us on board with Lawrence's win if they didn't show Lawrence having a 3 to 4 episode long temper tantrum, and they awarded the Beastenders episode to Lawrence, which would have been completely reasonable. My problem isn't with Lawrence. My problem as with the editing. Because they kept showing Lawrence being unlikable and stumbling, and then it's just sort of like hard to root for someone who's not able to get back up and persevere. Like, you know, when you're like a middle schooler and you're writing and you think you know a big twist, but actually it ends up being like a completely underwhelming ending? That's what happened. I feel like the show was produced by a bunch of children. And a similar thing kind of happened with season 1 of UK, where they told us that the Vivian had won a Drag Race sort of like ambassadorship award before the show even started. I mean, before the competition really began.
I just don't want people to think I'm here just because I won the ambassador as well.
About 4 years ago, I was crowned by RuPaul as the UK ambassador for Drag Race.
It was like, hey, here's this person who already won a thing. So we kind of knew that they were going to be planning on the Vivian winning. Now, when the Vivian was stumbling and also being a dick, because she was the whole fucking time, then you start rooting for someone who's lovable and also is improving. You don't want to see someone who's already won win again without good reason. They didn't give us good reason. It didn't feel like there was any actual redemption for Lawrence. Like, you can cut around all of that, or you could also do multiple takes of something. I know it's meant to be reality TV. When reality TV is scripted, you can fix your shit. It's not hard. Sorry. Sorry, I could be better at your job than you. One of my biggest pet peeves is when people are bad at their jobs, and that's why this bothers me so much. And even to bring it back to the US, I know that they had planned on Gigi Goode winning, and like I was kind of on board with that, because they didn't really put in the effort to, I don't know, to like get you excited about Jada. I didn't end up feeling excited about Jada Essence Hall. I feel neutral. I don't particularly even remember anything that she did. And you know why? It's because of the editing. They didn't highlight her. They didn't like include that many clips of her talking. Like the talking heads bits, like I don't really remember anything that she said. I remember Heidi in Closet like 10 times more. It's almost like it's strategic storytelling, and they didn't strategize. They didn't take what they already planned and then weighed it against what they actually filmed and figured out how to get to a good middle to make everything make sense. Instead, they're like, you're seeing one thing, but actually the reality is something that didn't happen. I don't appreciate that at all. It's bullshit. And in a way, they're kind of trying to do that same like, oh, they're stumbling. They're not doing as like amazing or as well consistently as like maybe they should be for like Simone and Olivia Lux. And like, it's weird. They're like awarding those two on weeks where they're not actually, I don't feel wowed, and not awarding them on weeks that like they do really well. Not always, but like a good amount of the time. And particularly, there was like one week where Denali and Rosé did amazing, and they didn't win that week. And then the week after, when Rosé did mediocre, they gave Rosé the win. Something's not adding up. I don't want to sound like a broken record, so let me get to like the end of this point. But the main thing is what they're probably attempting to do again, which is to be like, oh no, this person's not going to win, and then they win at the end. I'm not happy with Simone or Olivia's versatility because I don't feel like I'm getting enough to feel satisfied. So I'm feeling dissatisfied. I know Utica's not going to win, unfortunately, because I know the writers are idiots. Sorry, if you write for World of Wonder and you're offended, guess what? Be better at your job. You're the one getting paid for this. So maybe like be good at what you've chosen to do with your life. Sorry, I like don't have patience for mediocrity. I know that's so mean, but it's like so easy to like put in effort. Well, maybe that's the opposite of what easy and effort are. It's just not as hard as I think people make it seem to do well at something, or to like try enough so that your product is good, especially not when you have a team of writers and a team of producers and a team of editors. If you got this many people working on something, why is it ending up so bad? Why is the result so offensive? What's not clicking? And the other thing is that I think the casting is bad. The casting's really bad. For the most part, it feels like they're only casting people of color who are pageant queens. Like, if you're Asian, you can do drag like Rock M. Sakura or Kimchi. So visually very interesting, not like trying to impersonate a woman kind of look. But not if you are anyone else of color. And it's insulting, which I feel like I did say at the beginning, but it's insulting to the competitors, to the audience, and to the entire drag community. Like, cis white skinny queens are not the only people who are allowed to be couture or avant-garde. Actually, anyone should have that available to them. There are plenty of people who do that. You're just not casting them. I mean, do I know whether or not these people are applying to be on the show? No, I don't. But I know you also have scouts, because that's how reality TV works. So, like, why don't you go and, like, scout these people? Maybe, like, be good at casting. Sorry I have high standards. I just want to, like, enjoy shit that's good and has effort put into it. Seems kind of a little bit like the bare minimum to ask for. To bring it home, the main thing is that I feel like World of Wonder is gaslighting and insulting their audience with the presentation of a disjointed story that ends up with an unsatisfying ending for like the last 4 seasons in a row. To the point where it actually feels physically painful for me to watch. I love drag. I think it's very inspiring. I love watching queer people. I don't really have an interest in watching straight people, but I feel like World of Wonder treats its audience like we're fucking morons. We're not, actually. And I don't have patience for this bullshit. Like, probably after season 13 ends, because I'm already fucking watching it, I'm just gonna stop watching Drag Race.
And the first bitch I'ma smack is Nicki Minaj, cause she started this shit. Stinking bitch.
Where the bobs at? Where the bobs at, bitch? Hey.
Like, I'll keep watching because I have ad blocker, and everyone should have ad blocker, and that's gonna be it from me to them. Like, I just respect myself too much to be dicked around by a reality TV show, like, of all things. If I wanted to be played with, I would probably still be with one of my abusive exes. The problem comes down to the World of Wonder thinks that the audience is stupid, and they think that they can just, like, produce a sloppy show based off of pre-prep, and that everyone will be cool with it. But actually, it's extremely disappointing. And maybe actually think about it, and like, your editing might be why there's such a huge bullying problem in the Drag Race fandom. Are these teens who do the bullying going after the wrong people? Yes, they should be going after the heads of World of Wonder and also Rupert Paul Charles himself, not the queens who are competitors and participants. They didn't do anything wrong except for Elliot with 2 T's. You don't need to be microaggressive. Or like any of the other queens who are racist or pedophiles. I'm talking about, on the most part, on the whole, the problem is the storytelling. Oh my gosh, it's almost like you need to tell a good story for people to remember it and go back to rewatch it and also come back for another season. My friend who got me into Drag Race says that she actually thinks that they are doing this thing where they're sort of like toying with us and giving us these shitty, unsatisfying endings because they think that we'll keep coming back until they get it right. But the truth is, I don't want to give them that chance because I don't think that they're going to get it right. And I don't want them to make money off of wasting my time on crap. Hope you enjoyed this little rant. I think that World of Wonder is the problem, and it's a fixable problem, and it's embarrassing to not fix it. I hope you enjoyed this. If you disagree with me, please just like don't say anything, because 1, I'm always right, and 2, I'm an Aquarius, so I am right. Let that one sink in. Sorry about always being right. Sorry about looking so good. Sorry about making a good video that makes a lot of sense. I made good points, and the shit that makes me mad is fixable. It's so easy to just like fix things. Okay, I need to stop saying that like things that I think are easy and doable that I have no problem going ahead and doing for you are easy, because right now I don't have the power to actually do those things. If I were given the opportunity, I would do it. I'd do it though. Like, it would be fine. And then we'd all have something good to watch. If you're also tired of World of Wonder's nonsense, let me know. I would love some solidarity in the chat. You can like, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Follow me on all of my social media. That's all in the doodle. And by that, I mean description. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.
Whoa, whoa, Mamma Mia, here I go